Celebrities and Fundraising. I'm Bill Stanczykiewicz. This is the first day from the Fundraising School, and I'm joined today by my colleague, Dr. Genevieve Shaker. Jen is a professor of philanthropic studies at the Indiana University Lilly Family School of Philanthropy, where she serves in the Donald A. Campbell Chair in Fundraising Leadership. And Jen, great to have you back with us on the Fundraising Schools podcast.
Thanks so much, Bill. I'm happy to be here, as always.
You have so many areas of research that you're known for, including you have looked into celebrities and their influence on fundraising. First of all, I'm just kind of curious, what led you into this topic of discovery?
Well, I mean, to be honest, who's not a fan of some celebrity? And I'm no different. And of course, I'm a fan of philanthropy. So you put those two things together, and that just made me really curious and interested about that intersection between celebrities and philanthropy, nonprofit organizations, and fundraising.
And how have you seen celebrities involved? Like, have you seen ads? Has it been television? Has it been public speaking? Like where have you seen the celebrities involved in promoting nonprofit organizations that, again, also fueled your interest in this topic?
Well, I don't know about you, but where haven't you seen celebrities involved? I mean, if you sit down and think about all the ways that we hear from nonprofit organizations, and then we think about how often does that come with a celebrity spokesperson sometimes, or a celebrity founder, or a celebrity in a television ad? How about on a billboard? We used to see those all the time. And then what about social media, right? How about celebrities talking about needs in their communities on social media, sometimes supporting particular organizations? So I really think it's just become ubiquitous. I mean, sometimes maybe so much so that it doesn't even register with us anymore.
Jen, are there similarities or are there differences, perhaps both, when we think about celebrities in fundraising and celebrities in the private sector? Because right now the audience is saying, Bill Stan, Michael Jordan. Have you heard of him? Have you seen the gym shoes, right? Did you see the movie? Like, it's such a big deal that Michael Jordan is attached to the Air Jordans, and it's a whole big industry, let alone any celebrity that we see, athletes and movie stars and so forth being used in commercials for private sector products. Is that the same thing when we're thinking about fundraising, or are there some differences?
You're right. We see celebrities endorsing products all the time. And there is evidence that that works. And we hear about enormous contracts sometimes that celebrities are receiving for commercial endorsements. And so, I do think that when we look at endorsements of products and endorsements or support for nonprofits, there's certainly one commonality, and that is legitimacy of the celebrity in relation to the product or the nonprofit. And so the celeb has to be credible either way. They have to be a good representative for either the cause or the product. And so there are some similarities, of course, but people really think about their purchases a little bit different than their philanthropy, right? And so philanthropy and fundraising, as we often talk about it, is driven by values. And so when you're thinking about trusting a celebrity around a nonprofit, you're also really reflecting on your own values and what you care about. And so, I think it's maybe even more important that there is this alignment, this credibility. We know why the celebrity is endorsing this cause. I'll use that language. We know why they are supporting this cause, and it makes sense to us. It feels real. And so I think that might be even stronger when it comes to nonprofits and celebrity.
So we just can't align with a celebrity for the sake of their celebrity status. We need to make sure that there's the alignment with the nonprofit's values and the cause and the programs and the results. Jen, as you've done this research for many years now, and I know you teach this in our academic degree programs at the school, what are some of those key themes that have jumped out? Do celebrities make a difference when it comes to fundraising? And what are some of those other themes that have jumped out as you've done this research?
Well, I'll say that I am really grateful for the scholars who are doing this research. There's really great and interesting research about how celebrities engage with nonprofits and what the outcomes of that are. You know, a lot of the research shows just small benefits potentially from celebrity involvement. So small financial returns, perhaps, from celebrities being involved. So when you look at broad-based research that is experimental or surveys, that kind of thing, you're not seeing a huge boost from celebrity involvement. But when we think about particular examples of celebrity involvement, and I think we really can think of some key differences that celebrities have made. I always have to think about J.J. Watt and Hurricane Harvey and the tens of millions of dollars that he raised. And celebrities across the globe have raised really big dollars for disasters, in particular for other types of causes. And so when we look at examples, we see that benefit. When we try to look overall, that benefit isn't as clear. But to me, that suggests that a lot of factors have to come together for the celebrity to have the greatest influence. Some relate to them and who they are. Some relate to the cause and the context that the appeal is happening in. And so just like fundraising, when we study it in general, lots of factors motivate individuals to give. And when you have a celebrity involved, they will play into that overall motivation, but typically they are not going to be a sole motivation. So I think thinking about how does this celebrity fit in the context of the cause, the organization, our community of supporters, it's going to be really important for nonprofits as they consider whether they want to have a celebrity partner for their fundraising.
Jen, if I'm understanding you correctly, the celebrity can call attention to our nonprofit, can call attention to our cause, the results that we're able to deliver through our work in the philanthropic sector. But am I understanding you correctly saying that doesn't necessarily mean direct flood of donations, except in some of those urgent situations, like you talked about the big hurricane, the big natural disaster, but that the celebrity is more that maybe kind of macro awareness. It's still up to us to cultivate the relationship and make the ask. Am I understanding you correctly?
Yes, that's right. That's what I have observed, and I think that's the case.
Let me ask you if there have been changes over time. So, take a step back. Some of us in our audience, myself included, remember the old Jerry Lewis telethon, right? We're raising money on the Labor Day weekend to find cures for muscular dystrophy. Big celebrity. Went back, as I understand, back to the 50s and the 60s and continued on for several decades. Well, back then, believe it or not, folks, there were 3 to 5 TV stations. And there was AM and FM radio. Everybody read the daily newspaper, meaning a large number of people had their attention concentrated in a very small space. Now, if there was a Jerry Lewis telethon, there are 500 channels on television and all of the internet and all of the social media and all of the places. Have you seen differences over time because of the way information is now more diffused throughout the public square? Is it harder to gain attention? And therefore, does it mean the celebrity doesn't get noticed, or we need a celebrity more to get noticed because of all the noise that's out there?
Well, I love your telethon example. And, the idea of using a celebrity of some kind to build awareness really dates back even further, thinking about things that happened in World War II with celebrity involvement there, celebrity involvement in the UN, even going back before that to using shows and productions to raise money for different kinds of causes. So this isn't a new idea. And in fact, just playing on the telethon idea a little bit, now we have YouTubers who do live streams and raise millions of dollars. We saw a lot of live events on Zoom during COVID, also raised a lot of money for various causes related to COVID. And so I think some of those key methods of drawing people together around a celebrity, bringing in their fan base and using that to build support are still tried and true, and they still do work for us. But I think, you are right. We have so many methods for gaining information these days as compared to in the past that we really have to think about what is the platform, what is the avenue for our base of supporters and potential donors. And we need to think about that in relation to who are the fans, what is the base of fans that a particular celebrity has, and where is the intersection? is there an intersection? Because we really have to think carefully about whether there is that match. And so some things remain strong, other things have changed. At other times, people get a little fatigued of some methods, I think, and they are ready for something new and different. And sometimes organizations kind of can get ahead of the trend on that and be successful at celebrities, engaging with celebrities. So it's not a field, not surprisingly, that sits still, right? Because we are talking about an era where our attention spans are very short. So why wouldn't we need and be looking for new ways of engaging all the time?
And in that way, perhaps a celebrity can help us gain some attention. And Jen, when we're thinking, you hear the word celebrity, of course, we think about the biggest stars of television and movies, of music, of theater. We think about, these famous athletes. What about, I love how you talked about, we have to think about our own avenue of connection with our nonprofit and our donors. What about that more local celebrity? And, this may not be somebody who's known even statewide or nationally, let alone internationally, but they're known in our community, right? They were the former elected official. They were the, former held civic leadership position. Maybe they were the star in the local community theater every year. We've all been in those towns and we know how wonderful and beautiful that can be. It does the same kind of themes, do those same themes apply here for somebody who's not that big, Hollywood celebrity, but has that celebrity status in our own local communities?
Absolutely. I think we need to think about what a celebrity is today with a broad lens. And that includes thinking about our communities and who is well known and well respected in our communities, even thinking about our cause community, who is influential within our cause, potentially even in our community. And I've seen this happen with influencers, local influencers who care a lot about a cause can be great partners for nonprofits with a local focus. And I was thinking back in my own experience, and my first interaction, maybe my key interaction with a celebrity. So, okay, I've had a couple, but my first one was when I was just beginning my fundraising career. And at our organization, someone suggested, hey, let's reach out to the local news anchor. They do a lot of kind of human interest stories, and seem to be very kind of compassionate and interested in people's experiences. So I was like, okay, great. That's my job. This is my first job. I write a letter to this news anchor and tell her about our cause and, say we'd love to connect with you and talk about our mission, etc. And I had to be honest, I never thought that we would hear back from her. And guess what? Wouldn't you know it? I got a voicemail from her calling me back and leaving me a message and saying, hello, I got your letter. I'm really interested in your cause. What did you have in mind? And then I was like, oh no, what did we have in mind? We didn't really have a plan in mind. I think because we thought it was so far-fetched that she would respond to us. And so that was a good lesson, because luckily she was very kind and patient, and we came up with a plan. And luckily I didn't answer the phone and not have a plan that day. But anyway, so that was just a reminder, to be prepared. And when you do reach out to someone with specific ideas or options. And I think the other piece there was, we got pretty lucky just kind of thinking that she might care about our cause, because in general, she did stories that had a human interest focus. And so a lot of times that's not enough. I mean, when I talk to people now about how do you connect with the celebrity, I always start first by saying, what's the evidence that they care about your cause already? What makes you think they would care about your cause? And so this really takes us back to tried and true principles of fundraising, right? What is the LIA? What is the linkage, ability, and interest? So, what is, and here I'm kind of going backwards. So what do we perhaps know already about this celebrity that shows their interest in the cause? And then, what is our connection to them? I mean, I was lucky I could send her a letter at the TV studio, right? And she got it. But, how do we actually make a connection with some of these people? So how do we have a linkage that enables us to reach them? And that can be a real challenge, but better locally, right? Because you might know a person who knows a person who knows a person, or they might work at the local TV station and you send them a letter and email, you find their email. They say on the news, send me an email. So you send them an email. And then, of course, finally is ability. And I think with celebrities, we need to remember a few things. One is certainly they may have financial ability. They may have the possibility of being a donor. But, by the way, all well-known people are not wealthy. So we cannot also assume there is financial ability among all celebrities or well-known people, because that's not necessarily the case. But, I think in this case, we think, what other abilities do they have that are valuable to our organization? And so what are those other things that they bring that we are interested in, and why we want them to be part of our mission? And so principles of fundraising, as we always talk about them, thinking a little broadly or differently when it comes to what celebrities bring to the table, as you have been pointing out.
What a great way to apply a standard tool and framework from fundraising. So we think about engaging celebrities, be they local or have national and international appeal as well. Jen, I'm wondering if there's a word of caution here as well. You've emphasized there needs to be values alignment between the celebrity and the nonprofit, just as there is values alignment with any donor in the nonprofit. And then there's a scandal. Celebrities are in the news. That's why we pursued them. And then celebrities are in the news and something negative has happened. It sounds like that's a risk we take, right? We must be willing to take that risk when we engage with people who are in the limelight. Have you come across that? How do you address that topic?
Yes, I think that is real. And we have seen it happen with organizations and their celebrity partners. And so, organizations need to think about that carefully and how closely they're affiliating with a celebrity. So I think if it's that a celebrity came to your gala or performed or was the MC or, did something small, your risk is less because your identity of your organization is not wedded to that celebrity. But I think the more closely that you align your organization with the celebrity and the more prominent they are and visible they are, then both, potentially there's the most possible return, but there also is the most potential risk. And of course, every one of us feels differently about celebrities. Bill might think somebody is the greatest thing since apple pie, and I may not feel the same. And so I think that's always an issue too, that celebrities will resonate with some of our constituents more than others. And so, really thinking about this in a strategic way, like we recommend with all of our fundraising, as much as possible, like be strategic, be thoughtful, be planful, and think about the pros and cons, and then make your decision about whether you want to reach out to a celebrity. And yes, have a plan before you reach out. Never hurts.
Never hurts. Need to have that lined up. Insightful, practical guidance from my colleague, Dr. Jen Shaker. And this is why she's in the Donald A. Campbell Chair of Fundraising Leadership, as she translates the research into practical application for the rest of us to strengthen our fundraising. She also teaches at the academic level as a full professor at the Indiana University Lilly Family School of Philanthropy. Jen, always a delight. Thanks for being back with us on the Fundraising Schools podcast.
Thanks so much, Bill. And thanks to everyone. See you next time.
And Jen teaches in our public courses and in our custom training, a couple of dozen public courses. Now we have 6 different certificates that you can earn. And these public courses are taught in person or online in the United States, anywhere across the world. And then we can take content from the public courses and make it, customize it just for you through our custom training programs, also in person and virtually. We have our quarterly webinars and, of course, these weekly podcasts. And all of our knowledge is gathered in Achieving Excellence in Fundraising, now out in the book's 5th edition. The lead editor, by the way, was Jen Shaker, who brought us together to make sure that that book stays current. All this information is available on our website at go.iu.edu/TFRS for the Fundraising School. Our producers today, the Emmy Award winner, Mike Anthony, along with Jennifer Boffman. I'm Bill Stanczykiewicz, and now you are now more fully informed on this first day from the Fundraising School.